Joining us right now for the latest from Israel is Michael Oren. He's the former Israel ambassador to the U.S. We very much appreciate you joining us this morning. You just heard that report, and we're all, I think, trying to understand not just what comes next, but how this can be done in a way that is both retaliatory but also respectful to some degree of the human lives that are there in Gaza, and how you think this is going to ultimately play itself out.
Good. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Becky, for having me on. That is a tough question, and it's a question that should be addressed not to the state of Israel, but actually to Hamas. Hamas is using this population as a human shield. Hamas has dug a vast warren of attack tunnels, ambush sites throughout these neighborhoods. This is don't think of like a leafy suburban neighborhood. These are killing zones. And the actual humanitarian thing to do, because Israel has to defend itself against Hamas, is to ask these civilians to leave and give them ample warning. Otherwise, Hamas will use them as human shields. Actually, Hamas has given an order for the people not to leave now. Now, why would they do that? They want to use those humans, those civilians, as those shields. They would like to be able to claim that Israel's guilty of war crimes, because that's the way they can legitimize us. So this is really the best that Israel can do, and we would call on the international community, and there are no shortage of NGOs in the Gaza Strip to assist with this evacuation, to provide shelter and food for this population in the southern part of the Strip, which is agricultural and wide open places. Also ask the Egyptians to open their border. Their border is hermetically sealed, and allow some of these civilians to resettle temporarily in the Sinai Desert or in the city of El Arish.
How concerned are you, though, that this entire battle spreads, that Iran meaningfully gets involved, that others meaningfully get involved at this point?
It would be my personal working assumption, I'm not in government anymore, that the minute Israel enters into the Gaza Strip, that Hezbollah will not sit by passively, perhaps not Iran. And Hezbollah doesn't act without a green light from Iran. And therefore, it's very important, the decision by the Biden administration to move significant naval assets into the area to serve as a check on possible Hezbollah and Iranian involvement in the war.
In terms of U.S. support and U.S. money, we've obviously looking at a situation where there's no Speaker of the House. There's a question about whether our own government is going to shut down within the next 45 days, or actually less at this point. How pivotal and important do you think that is right now?
It's important. I wouldn't necessarily say it's fateful right now. And President Biden did say he would work with a dysfunctional Congress to assure that we get the necessary funds if we need one. What Israel needs right now is ammunition. We're probably almost certainly going to run short. Underneath the state of Israel, there's about $2 billion in pre-positioned U.S. military material. It was put here at the beginning of the Gulf War to serve U.S. forces in the Middle East. It stayed here. And each time we usually have a war with Hamas, we ask the United States for the key to the warehouse so we can go in and take what we need, and we almost always get permission to go and get what we need. This time, the Biden administration is actually preempting our request by sending vital munitions already to us by plane. In addition, we need for the United States what I call the diplomatic Iron Dome. If elements of the international community try to condemn us for conducting this war, for defending ourselves, the United States will be there, say, to cast a veto in the Security Council. And the last great service that the United States can give for Israel is the morning after. There will be a morning after this war. And we have to think seriously now about how we can rebuild Gaza, rebuild it in a way that it emerges as a peaceful, or an element for peace in the Middle East, and not for an element of for terror and vicious barbarism.
Ambassador Oren, I want to thank you for joining us. I do hope that we get to that morning after, and I hope we have an opportunity to have you back to talk about what that morning after should look like. Thank you.
Thank you very much, both of you.